Good afternoon, my dear students. Let me conclude this liquidator final statement of account. In the previous lecture, I taught you the concepts as well as one problem on a liquidation. Now, what we will do, my dear students, we will summarize this liquidator final statement with the help of few points. Now, first, in the liquidator final statement, you must able to classify the items into categories of liquidator final statement of account. Now, what it mean by here, you will find so many categories like cash and bank balance, amount realized, then after that you will find surplus category and call category on the debit side, on the receipt side. Then after that on payment side as well, you will find legal charges, liquidator, triple L, then preferential, debentures, unsecured, external one, and then internal, preference shareholder and equity shareholder, correct. Now, here after getting any item of a balance sheet, you must able to write that item somewhere in these categories. Now, how to write that? For that, I think so we will see one or two problems. We have three problems with us. I will just give you glimpse about how to classify these into different categories. Now, here, okay, and then first problem. The first problem of Hari Limited. Before classifying, you must able to first read the problem first, and after reading, do one thing. After reading that problem, read the adjustments and give stars to items given in the balance sheet. Now, in this problem, preference dividend is an arrear, that means this is related to preference dividend, adjustment related to dividend. Okay. Then after that, hypothecation of land, related to land we have adjustment hypothecation, plus we have adjustment loan from Dena Bank, loan from bank. Okay. Then realized values are given. In that, I think so straight away we are having all amounts, nothing is there as adjustment as such. And then cost of liquidation amounted to given, liquidator remuneration 3% on all asset realized is also given, and all payment on 31st March, that means on balance sheet date itself. After reading problem, then try to classify. The debit side classification is very simple. On the debit side, only three categories, actually four categories are there, but last one is related to call amount, that means related to liability, not the assets. Here on the debit side we write all assets and just the call amount from the shareholders, that liability, correct. Now, generally here you will find only assets. Now, to write assets, we have cash oblique bank balance category, amount realized from sale of asset category, and surplus from security category. Now, here you please write opening balance. Here anyone can write this category. Why? Because here what do we write? We write opening cash balance as well as opening bank balance. Let it be repetition of previous video. In that video I already told you how to classify, where to write and all. Just within 2 minutes I will complete this first point, and then after that some new things also you will learn in this video. If you watch this video completely, then you will not make any mistake in liquidator final statement. Yes, 100% correct answer you will get in exam. So many combinations and parameters, yes, permutations we will see here. Then second category, amount realized from sale of assets, and then to surplus. Both are related to asset only, but here we do write asset which we give as a security to liability holders, correct. Now, the asset which we have given security, write that asset here, correct, understood. What to write here? Pen is not working. And then after that, my dear students, what to write here? Amount realized from sale of asset, in this category all remaining assets, यानी जो asset हमने गिरवी नहीं रखा था वो सब इधर आ जाएगा, इसमें ज़्यादा asset आ जाएगी, इसमें एक दो asset आ सकते हैं जो asset हमने गिरवी रखा था, यानी क्या, against a particular loan liability holders, if you give that as a security, then we do write here, understood. And then what about, now all the asset are over, I think so. Land we have given this as a security, correct ना, security यानी land आएगा surplus में, land आएगा surplus में. Then after that plant and machinery, patent, stock, debtors, ये सब आएगा इधर से इधर तक किधर आएगा, अमाउंट रियलाइज फ्रॉम सेल ऑफ एसेट, दैट मीन्स इन अ सेकेंड कैटेगरी, अमाउंट realized from sale of asset in this category. From this to this I am talking about, correct na? This is a second group. Okay, first group surplus, then this second, then after that cash, you know, we write this in cash or bank balance, cash oblique bank. Where to write this is important, cash or oblique bank. And then after that these assets, but these assets are not having value, real value as such, therefore this will not appear anywhere in liquidator final statement. Very simple. This generally falls into your miscellaneous expenses group, correct. Now non-current asset group also you must have seen in the vertical format. This is horizontal. In horizontal format you will find miscellaneous expenditure group. In that we write preliminary expenses, profit and loss, discount on issue of debentures, then formation expenses. All are not the real assets, therefore they never come. By selling those assets you will not get anything, correct na? Whatever we are getting and whatever we are paying, that we are writing in liquidator statement. Therefore here no need to write anything in liquidator statement about the miscellaneous expenditure. Understood about the Hare Limited, this problem number 1. Then in a problem number 2, the same items. Now here in this problem we have given furniture as a hypothecation, therefore furniture in what? Furniture will come in surplus category. Now then after this, if you read, no need, I know, you know everything, against loan of 130, furniture of a furniture on hypothecation of furniture, therefore furniture in surplus, and then all other assets, all other, that means plant and machinery, goodwill, stock, debtors, in amount realized from sale of assets, correct. Then after that cash in cash oblique bank, correct. And then preliminary expense, profit or loss will not come. Understood? Similarly we have third problem. Here also we have given furniture, same, correct. Here goodwill, just we change few adjustments, correct na? But that you will understand while calculating remuneration and all, those are related to remuneration. Understood how to classify your assets into 3 categories: opening, cash and bank. Then after that गिरवी रखा था O and गिरवी नहीं रखा था O, that means गिरवी रखा है वो surplus में, नहीं रखा है वो amount realized from sale of assets. Okay, this is all about your asset side, and then some items will not come, those fictitious asset you know, correct. After understanding, you can write the debit side very well, and then by writing debit side you will get 4 to 5 marks in exam. After that you will find credit side as well. On credit side, the first item legal charges, second liquidator remuneration, and third liquidation expenses. All 3 are what? L only, triple L. Now first L and third L directly you will get in problem itself. By that name will match. Legal charges, you will be getting legal charges. By reading that legal charges word and that amount, you can write amount in form of legal charges. Then liquidation expenses, either you will get liquidation expenses or cost of liquidation, both are one and the same, correct. Therefore you can very well write these two. Then liquidator remuneration, related to this we have adjustments, how to calculate, what to write, what not to write, that we will see later on in the next point, correct. And then after writing first 3 L's, triple L's, you will find 3 categories of outsiders, correct na? 3 categories related to outsiders: preferential creditors, debentures and unsecured. Now debenture, what about the debenture? I have written some points related to debenture, but here debenture, if matches, debenture holder word if matches with debentures, then that will come here in debenture holder. If debenture is matching in simple word, then write that debenture here, but we have one exception to that, we will see that later on. Right now just try to understand debentures in debentures category. Then after this you will find remaining 2, whether to write a particular item in a preferential or in unsecured. For that you will get one definition about preferential creditors. I have shown you one flowchart in the previous lecture, 6 items falls into this category. Those 6 are related to 3, that means related to if government, if related to workers and investigation expenses, then write those in preferential. Now then related to government means government taxes, government dues, correct? Now taxes in that indirect tax of government, direct tax of government, last 12 months taxes here you will find of government, correct? Municipal taxes, water bill there, correct? Municipal charges, government related, correct now. But if you sell goods to government, that will not come here, those creditors, just what the government taxes, rates and taxes. And then after this in this category only wages, workers payment, related to worker you will find so many things, their salary, their wages, but here condition is there. Generally you will be not asked those conditions in calculation, but in theoretical sense, in true or false, you may be asked this. Last 4 months in a whole 1 year, their 4 months payment, last 4 months payment, this should not be more than 20,000 per worker, correct? And then their PF amount, their gratuity amount, their holiday remuneration amount, their then ESI contribution, etc., and investigation expenses. If the particular item of the balance sheet is related to this, then write that here. Now we will try to identify those items here. In a Hare Limited, in a first problem, have I given anything here related to preferential? Yes, you will find income tax. Income tax we pay to government. Related to government, we do write that in preferential group. Then other than this, do we have anything related to government or worker? No, we do not have anything. Therefore, only one item. And in adjustment, do you have anything related to worker? Worker, no, nothing is related, only one item will come in preferential. Then second problem, in a second problem, related to government we do not have anything, but related to worker we have wages payable, that we do write where in a preferential creditor group, understood? And then in a third problem, anything other than wages do we have? Investigation, etc., or government, etc., information not given, that means only wages payable will come in preferential creditors. And then in this problem, do you have anything? Now here we do not have legal expense, that is different. Now related to government, creditors include preferential creditors of rupees 5,000, okay. And now what is this? Try to understand. Wages payable, by reading atom name you will understand this is related to worker, therefore in a preferential group, correct. We will write this 15,000 directly. And then one more, my dear students, here we have, what is that? This creditors include preferential creditors. These creditors, okay, includes preferential creditors of 5,000, that means of related to this, these creditors are having two parts. First what? 5,000, if, and then balance 75,000. What is this 5? This is 5 preferential. And what is remaining? Remaining nothing as mentioned, therefore this is what? Just the creditors, correct. We do not know preferential or other unsecured, but say right now this is just the creditors, understood? Then 15,000 we had already written, then 5,000 just now we identified, after identifying it, right, because of preferential in preferential creditor group, understood? Creditors total 80, out of 5 what they are saying? Preferential, therefore write 5 in preferential, do not write whole 80,000 in unsecured or somewhere, we do not know whether to write that right now in unsecured or not. We are just understanding now preferential group, understood? Yes, you must have understood the preferential group. After this, after identifying preferential and writing in preferential creditors, now next remaining creditors, you must write external liabilities, remaining external liabilities in unsecured creditors group. Now then try to identify external. Now first one is internal, second one is also internal. Internal यानी आपने shareholder वालों, reserve and surplus group, and then your shareholder group. Now this is the internal. 5% debentures. Debentures, we generally do write debentures in debentures, therefore right now do not think about the debentures. Or then interest on debenture, related to debenture, wherever we write debenture there we will write interest as well. Then after that creditors we have here in this problem. Then creditors, where to write creditors, if not in preferential then in remaining, that means in an unsecured group. Therefore here nothing has mentioned about the creditors in first problem, therefore write these creditors in unsecured creditors group. Easy na? It is very simple. If related to preferential, write in preferential, if not then write everything remaining in unsecured. Everything remaining, that means use your brain. Yes, I am talking about the external liabilities, not the internal liabilities. Unsecured creditors here. Then loan from bank, this is against what? This is against a fixed charge, therefore we have to write this loan in surplus. Yes, in surplus what do we write? We write liability name with their amount as well as asset name with their amount, correct. Therefore this is a part of surplus. Then after that income tax, we have already written income tax here in where income tax in preferential, okay, understood. Problem number 1. Then problem number 2, these are internal liabilities, no need to write anywhere the specific category for these liabilities we will find. Then debentures in debentures category, creditors nothing has mentioned about the creditors, only given the discount included preferential, nothing like that, therefore we will write creditors in unsecured creditors. Then loan from Dena Bank, hypothecation, therefore in surplus category. If you give this against hypothecation, therefore in surplus. And then wages payable in preferential category. And then what about problem number 3? In problem number 3, what they are saying, creditors include preferential creditors, 5,000 we will write in preferential and 75 in unsecured, this unsecured, correct. And then loan from Dena Bank, have they given hypothecation? Yes, they have given hypothecation, therefore surplus. If no hypothecation, if no fixed charge, if not against some specific asset, then this loan also we write in remaining category, that means in unsecured creditors category. Understood now what to write where? Asset, only 3 categories, opening, given as a security, not given as a security. And what about the liabilities? First triple L directly you will get, then 3 categories next, preferential, debenture holder and unsecured. What to write where? First try to identify preferential, write in those in preferential, and if remaining external liabilities, then write all those remaining in unsecured. If you have already written liability like loan from bank in surplus, then do not write it again in unsecured creditors category, no need to write those liability twice, understood. Now the next point, what is our next point? When to write amount in surplus or in unsecured or and in unsecured group, correct. One second. In second point we will try to understand when to write amount in a surplus and or when to write that in unsecured group, okay. For that we will take the example of Hari Limited, first example only. Now to write surplus, I have format of a surplus with me, okay. Now surplus, let us see, you will get surplus on the debit side, correct. In surplus we write asset name as well as the liability name, correct. Now asset and liability, which asset? The asset which you have given, this is asset category, therefore first write asset name, the asset which you have given as a security. Now in this problem, to bank we have given land as a security, therefore here you must write land. Second. Okay, in surplus category we will write first here land. And after writing land, you must write realized value of land. Realized value of land 1,20,000. Then against this, which liability is there in the balance sheet? Against this, loan from bank is the liability. Okay, loan from bank, how much? 50,000. Write that 50,000 rupees. Here, loan from bank 50,000 rupees. Correct. And then if receivable amount is more than payable amount, you will get 1,20,000 by selling land. 1,20,000 हाथ में आ जाएगा और उसमें से सिर्फ आपको 50,000 रुपये देना है, तो बचेगा पैसा? यस बचेगा, तो उसको क्या बोलेंगे? सरप्लस. इफ रिसीवेबल इज मोर देन पेएबल देन दैट इज सरप्लस. इफ सरप्लस देन ओनली राइट दैट सरप्लस in the outer column, realized column. Correct. Now 1,20,000 minus 50, here write then 70,000. Understood? 70. It's very simple. Just compare the realized value of asset with the payable value of liability. It could be any liability. Here in this case we have loan as a liability. This is problem number 1's case. Then problem number 2, we have again we will change the case here. In problem number 2, what they are saying? In problem number 2, we have what? Loan from bank of rupees 1,30,000, and against this we have given hypothecation of furniture. Correct. Here check the furniture, check my cursor, and then from furniture we have got 1,20,000. First, because this is asset category, first write asset amount furniture, and amount of furniture is rupees 1,20,000 rupees. After writing furniture amount, then write loan amount or the liability amount. Against this we have taken loan of 1,30,000. Oh, now in this problem, receivable or received amount is 1,20,000 and payable or paid amount is 1,30,000. Payable amount is 1,30,000. Correct. Therefore you will get 120 from, here something is going wrong. You will get 1,20,000 and you required to pay 1,30,000 rupees. Correct. 1,20,000 inflow and 1,30,000. We cannot pay actually 1,30,000. Yes, here on the debit side. How much we can pay? Only 120. In this surplus category, maximum up to 120 we can pay. Therefore here pay 120. That means pay full amount. Nothing will remain in your pocket. We required to pay 130, but we have only 120. Therefore first say him that give or take this 120 and then remaining 10 we will pay you if we have cash. From which category we will pay you? Not from this category, but you will get remaining from unsecured creditors category. For that you must have to stand in line. Okay, from this category we will give you remaining 10. Balance amount of loan, will say balance amount of loan 10,000 will pay from this category. Understood? Now what was our target? Our target was to study what, when to write in surplus and when to write in a unsecured group. Understood? If we have excess fund with us after paying liability amount, then write that in surplus excess amount. and if not, if you have deficit amount, then write that deficit amount in an unsecured group. I think so you must have understood this point as well as this point. Then next point, when to write debentures in debenture holders category and in a surplus category, and oblique or in surplus category. When to write debentures. Now you will say debenture name is matching, then what? Then you just few minutes back said that if name is matching, then write debentures in debenture. Right now you are saying sometimes to write in debentures category, debenture holders category, and sometimes in surplus. But now what is the logic behind this? Okay, let me explain that logic. Wait, you will understand that logic as well. Now here in the first problem, what they are saying, debentures against floating charge on all assets. In a second problem, charge on all assets, and in a third problem, charge on all assets. Correct. All three problems are same. If this is the case, then write debentures in debenture holders category. Correct. If we do not know charge of asset, a particular asset, then write debentures in debentures category. If nothing has mentioned about the debentures, then we will make three cases of debentures. Now debentures, then debentures. First we will say charge on all assets. Then second case charge on a particular assets. Okay, and then after that here nothing has mentioned about the charge, just debentures given. Okay. Okay, then if this is the case, charge on all assets, then write debentures in debenture holders category. If charge on a particular asset, example charge against furniture, then what? Then in surplus category. Understood? Okay, any doubt here? No, I think so. You must not be having any doubt. Debentures, only three cases you will get: charge on all assets, and nothing has mentioned about the charge. Okay, then here in holders category, debenture holders category. If on all asset given, then debenture holder, nothing has mentioned, then also in debenture holder. But if charge on a particular asset is given against what? Furniture, for example, then we write that in surplus category. Okay, understood? Then after this we have next point to learn. Next, what they are saying, identifying preferential creditors. Now that I think so I have already told you how to identify. Three groups you will find of the preferential creditors. First, government group, then after that worker group, and investigation expenses group. In a worker, so many sub items we will find. Here their taxes, rates, dues, correct. In investigation only one. Then relevance of payment made on a particular date. Okay, what is the relevance of payment made on a particular? Here date of payment is 31st March, balance sheet date is also 31st March. Then after that, in this problem we have 31st March balance sheet date and payment 31st December 2020. That means there is a difference between balance sheet date and date of payment. What is the relevance of this date? Now, two related points we do have. Which are they? Should I explain here only or in a format? Yes, in a format. What is the relevance of that date? Now this, if we have two different dates, then when different dates are given, then first what? Preference dividend. If two different dates are given, then you must check for preference dividend. We pay preference dividend only up to the what we will say, winding of date, only up to the winding of date. Now if two dates are given, then in that you will find preference dividend payment and debenture holders. Interest payment. If two dates are there, then you must check these two cases. You must take the precaution for these two cases. Now, what is the relevance then? If these dates are given, then you must check for what? Solvency. Solvency, correct. Either you will find solvent company or insolvent company, correct. Now if company is solvent and if company is insolvent, it is very simple to understand, do not take tension at all. If company is solvent then or insolvent, you have to pay preference dividend only up to date of winding up. Let it be any dates have given, let it be any payment date, you must pay, whether that is solvent or insolvent, you must pay preference dividend only up to date of winding up. That means generally winding up date is balance sheet date only, they will get dividend only up to balance sheet date. But what about the debenture holders interest payment? Now debenture holders interest payment, in that you will find two cases, solvent case, solvent and insolvent. If company is solvent, then pay interest up to date of payment, and if company is insolvent, then pay only up to date of winding up. Understood? In regular classes I have not taught you, I think so, not focusedly said about the debenture holders interest and all. I have not classified their solvent and insolvent one, but some glimpse must have given. Why this is so? because generally you will get problem on a voluntary liquidation. If voluntary liquidation, then you will find solvency case. If nothing has mentioned about solvency or insolvency, then assume that this is solvency case, solvent company, and because of solvency it will affect to two items. First, preference dividend, let it be any case, solvent or insolvent, or let it be 2 or 3 dates are given, let it be any dates are given, same date or different date, you must give dividend if mentioned in article of association only up to date of winding up. And then if debenture holders interest, then in that, if company is solvent, pay up to date of payment, otherwise pay up to date of winding up. Generally in exam you will get only solvency case, that means what, you have to pay interest up to date of payment. If two different dates are given, then you must pay interest up to date of payment. This is the crux of whole discussion of 5 minutes, last 5 minutes. करेक्ट, कंपनी सॉल्वेंट नहीं बताया होगा, सॉल्वेंट है कि इंसॉल्वेंट है, आपको सॉल्वेंट एज्यूम करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज कंपनी सॉल्वेंट है, आपको डेट ऑफ पेमेंट तक पेमेंट करना होगा इंटरेस्ट का. डेट ऑफ पेमेंट बैलेंस शीट की डेट है तो कुछ अलग सा इंटरेस्ट कैलकुलेट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, अदरवाइज कैलकुलेट इंटरेस्ट सेपरेटली एंड देन राइट दैट इंटरेस्ट इन व्हाट अ पर्टिकुलर कैटेगरी. सपोज आप डिबेंचर लिखते हो, इफ़ यू आर राइटिंग डिबेंचर्स इन डिबेंचर होल्डर्स कैटेगरी, देन राइट इंटरेस्ट ऑन डिबेंचर्स इन डिबेंचर होल्डर्स कैटेगरी. इफ़ यू आर राइटिंग ओरिजिनल डिबेंचर्स हियर इन सरप्लस कैटेगरी, देन राइट डिबेंचर इंटरेस्ट also in surplus category. That means here you will not find loan, here you will find debentures, and then basic amount of debentures, let's assume that basic amount is 1 lakh and their interest is 10,000, then here you will find 1,10,000 in this category only, surplus category only, correct. And if not, if you are writing debentures in debenture holder category, then you will find first debentures of rupees 1 lakh and then their interest, let's assume that 10,000, here 1,10,000, like this, understood. And now where to write, that is clear. Now next, then how much to write. Now always write 3 maximum things. Which are they? First, what, their basic amount, their basic amount, then after that their interest up to, let's say, balance sheet date, and then interest from balance sheet to date of payment, correct. 3 things only, maximum 3 things. Sometimes they will give you interest up to balance sheet, sometimes they will not give you. If you given, then write, otherwise no need to write. This is not related to date of payment. Basic amount you will get from balance sheet, this also you will get from balance sheet, but this you will not get from balance sheet, you must calculate this amount. Now then let's check first problem. In first problem, against floating charge on all assets, therefore as you know we write that in debenture holders group, then after that interest on debentures, this is what, this is given in balance sheet, that means this is debentures interest up to balance sheet date, debenture interest up to balance sheet date, therefore this 5,000 here only, 5,000, and then that basic amount 1,50,000 here, okay. And then interest from balance sheet date to date of payment, when this will come, if only we have different date of payment. Now in this problem 31st March is here and 31st March is here, no different date, therefore no different date of payment, therefore you will not find anything here. Only we have different date of payment, then only you have to calculate that interest, otherwise nothing will come in front of this item. Therefore finally in outer column you will find 1,55,000, understood. I am going slow. Some students, yes, after telling so many times same thing, they do not understand. Now then after this, for next problem, here on floating charge, therefore where debentures, in debenture holder, not in surplus, correct na. Sometimes you will find debentures in surplus, I already told you, no need to tell that again. Then in this problem, my dear students, do you have different date of payment? Yes, 31st March here and 31st December here. Okay, that means in this problem you have to calculate interest from balance sheet to date of payment. You may have to. When this interest will come? Two conditions: if two different dates are given and company solvent. Have they mentioned anything about the solvency? Now resolution voluntary. If voluntary, then this must be the solvent. If nothing has mentioned whether voluntary or compulsory, then also we do assumption of solvency only. Correct, because for compulsory winding up you will find so many reasons. In that you will find so many reasons, not always because of insolvency compulsory winding up. इतना डीप में जाने की कुछ ज़रूरत नहीं है, आपको सॉल्वेंसी का ही केस आएगा. करेक्ट है. तो सॉल्वेंसी है ऐसा एज्यूम करके अभी क्या करो, उसको दो डेट दिया है, पहली केस सेटिस्फाइड है, दूसरी वो सॉल्वेंट है वो भी सेटिस्फाइड है, तो आपको डेट ऑफ पेमेंट तक इंटरेस्ट देना पड़ेगा, यानी ये इंटरेस्ट लिखना पड़ेगा इस प्रॉब्लम में. करेक्ट है. We'll write. And then do we have interest up to balance sheet date? No, we don't have. Therefore here dash. If nothing has mentioned, this you will get directly from problem itself, from balance sheet. Correct na? Not given, therefore here dash. And then because of two different dates and solvent company, we will calculate this third atom, second type of interest, that means third atom in that debenture holders category. Okay, now this interest we will calculate. Now how to calculate this, you know, is very simple. Now basic amount 1,50,000 into rate of interest 5 divided by 100, 5% into number of months from balance sheet to date of payment. Balance sheet 31st March to 31st December, you will find what, 9 months into 9. You are writing in months, therefore divide by 12. If you are writing in years, then no need to divide it by 12. If months, then divide it by 12, because this is in per annum, this should be also in per annum, annual form. If you divide, that will come into annum in term of a year. 1,50,000 into 5% into 9 divided by 12. You will get here 5625. Okay, then write 5625, and then in the outer column you will find 1,55,625. Understood now interest about the debentures. Okay, now next. One second. Now that will become easy, that will save our time. Now, this identifying preferential relevance of date of payment, you must have understood this. Then after that, calculation of liquidator remuneration. Calculation of liquidator remuneration, for that I think so I have here types of liquidator remuneration. There are maximum, whatever I know, either reference book, निराली का book, इधर वाला book, अपना book, and other books we will say. From that I try to identify types of liquidator remuneration. Maximum 10 types of liquidator remuneration I could identify. Here one by one we will try to understand. It is very simple, it will take 10 to 15 minutes maximum. Now first here, let me here okay. Now the liquidator is entitled to a remuneration of 3% on all assets. He will get on all assets. All assets, that means what? On all assets. Now what it mean by this? Now do we have solved problem? Yes, we have solved problem. That problem we will get in last video. Okay, this is solved problem, previous solved. In this, my dear students, what they said right now, they said liquidator will get remuneration on all assets. Correct. That means what? On a plant and machinery he will get, stock he will get, debtors he will get, on a goodwill if realized on zero amount he will get, then on a furniture also he will get, and on a cash also he will get. Cash is also asset, therefore he will get commission on cash on all assets. Whatever I am saying, listen, yes, as it is, because here so many variations you will find. Now then after this, my dear students, what they are saying, entitle a 3% on all asset except cash. Specifically they are saying don't give commission on cash, therefore don't give commission on cash. Now then here let me, what to do, every time this is taking time. Okay, now it's very simple. What they are saying, on all assets except cash. Now except cash, don't give commission on cash right now, then other than cash on all assets give commission. Okay. Now what it mean by this? It's mean by give commission on, what they are saying, give commission on, that means this, give commission on why I am playing, I don't know. Give commission on 2,75,000, 65, 80, 0 and 1,20,000. Understood? Now specifically they are saying don't give commission on what, this cash, therefore don't give commission on cash, other than cash on all asset, all assets. Then after this, the first category is clear, second category is also clear. Now the he is entitled a remuneration of 3% on all asset realized. Now this realized word is important. Now cash is in realized form only, we do not sell cash to get cash, correct. Naturally cash is in realized form, liquid form only, therefore if this is the word, this word is given on all asset realized, here on all asset just they said, they have not mentioned whether realized or unrealized. If because of this word, though we have all word, don't give commission, don't give commission on, don't give commission, something is wrong, going wrong, don't give commission on some. Okay, now we will continue. There was some problem in system. Entitled remuneration 3% on all asset realized. Now what it mean by, here cash is in realized form, therefore don't give commission again on cash, just give commission on these assets, these all plus this, correct. Now next, after this, next type, entitled remuneration 3% on assets only, correct, on assets, therefore whether realized on all asset, correct na, nothing has mentioned. If on asset, what is difference between on all assets and on assets? On assets, here specifically said on all assets, correct, here just said on assets, therefore if just on assets said, don't give, normally we do not give commission on cash, don't give commission or remuneration on cash, we will say, correct, don't give this on. Okay, then next, liquidator is entitled to a remuneration 3% on asset realized, on asset realized, on all asset realized and on asset realized, this is one and the same. Asset realized, here don't give commission on cash, same thing, don't give commission on cash, because cash is already in realized form, correct, understood. Then after that, next here the liquidator is entitled to a remuneration 3% on asset realized by him only. जो उन्होंने सेल किया है उसके ऊपर ही कमीशन दे दो. तो उन्होंने क्या सेल किया है ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. नॉर्मली इफ नथिंग हैज मेंशन अबाउट द secured asset, then we assume that secured asset is sold by the bank only or to whom we have given that party only. Understood? जब बोला नहीं रहता है, जो हमने गिरवी एसेट दे दिया है ना, उसके बारे में कुछ नहीं बोला है किसने सेल किया, तो वो जनरली सेल कौन करता है, जिसको हमने गिरवी रखने के लिए दिया था वही सेल करता है. तो उसने सेल किया, एफर्ट्स किसने ले लिए, उसने ले लिए, तो कमीशन किसको मिलेगा, उसको मिलना चाहिए, उसको मिलेगा, लिक्विडेटर को नहीं मिलेगा. मगर इफ स्पेसिफिकली सेड इन द प्रॉब्लम अबाउट दैट एसेट sold by liquidator or falling assets are sold by liquidator, realized by the liquidator, in that asset is there which you have given as a security. That means what? Liquidator sold that asset. Now in Nirali you will find one problem, correct. Now in this problem, then what about this problem? In this problem have they mentioned about who have sold the asset? Dena Bank, to that bank we have given land as a hypothecation, but who have sold the asset realized as under. इधर बोला है क्या, the assets realized by liquidator as under, by liquidator as under? No. That means किसने realize किया ये कुछ नहीं बोला है. तो in this case we will assume that this land is realized by bank, Dena Bank. Therefore on land liquidator will not get commission. This on 1,20,000 realized value, liquidator will not get commission. Now here in this case we have given furniture as a hypothecation and then that asset realized where as under. किसने realize किया है, कुछ बोला है क्या, नहीं बोला है. तो किसको मिलना चाहिए कमीशन? यस, बैंक को ही मिलना चाहिए. बैंक को कमीशन हम नहीं देते, यानी लिक्विडेटर को नहीं मिलना चाहिए, ऐसा बोलो. In this case liquidator will not get commission on 1,20,000 rupees. On that furniture he will not get. Why he will not get? Because they have said here he will get on asset realized by him only. अभी थर्ड प्रॉब्लम में भी ऐसा ही बोला है, मगर वो बोलते क्या बोलते इधर, द एसेट वेर रियलाइज एज अंडर बाय द, आई विल चेंज द प्रॉब्लम, बाय द liquidator or the liquidator realized the assets as under, ऐसा बोला है. तो इस केस में क्या होगा, देखो हमने फर्नीचर दिया था अगेंस्ट द हाइपोथिकेशन, we have given furniture as the hypothecation. Therefore my dear students, generally on furniture we will not give, but here though we have given furniture as a hypothecation, bank said us to sell that furniture, and in this case liquidator realized the amount of furniture. Liquidator has taken effort to sell the furniture though we have given furniture. Now liquidator sold, that doesn't mean liquidator will get cash, bank only will get cash, but because liquidator has taken the effort, liquidator will get remuneration or the commission on that 1,20,000. If by liquidator this type of wording is given, then only liquidator will get commission on a furniture, otherwise he will not get. Understood? It's very simple, by him only. Then try to identify which asset realized by liquidator. If nothing has mentioned, then in a general sense the asset which we have given as a security, that party or that liability holder will only sell that asset. Therefore on that liquidator will not get in general sense, but if specifically said about liquidator sold that asset, then give commission on that asset as well, otherwise don't give. Understood? It's very simple. नॉर्मल केस में थोड़ा उल्टा है, डोंट गिव दे आर सेइंग. नॉर्मल केस पैसे बचाओ थोड़ा सा, नो नीड, करेक्ट है. देन नेक्स्ट, लिक्विडेटर रिम्यूनरेशन वाज फिक्स्ड, व्हाट 2640 he will get, let it sold by anyone, he will get fixed amount 2640. plus he will get 2% on amount realized. Now 2% on amount realized, what is the meaning of amount realized? That we have already studied. On amount realized, on asset realized, that means on amount realized, both one and the same this case. That means here 2% on amount realized, 2% on assets except cash, correct? Now all assets except cash, and 10% on amount returned to equity shareholders. If liquidator is getting commission on amount returned to equity shareholders on the basis of amount returned, then in that case use formula. Logically also I have explained, but here to save time directly I will give you formula. Now what is that formula? If this is the case, if liquidator is getting commission on amount returned to equity shareholder, then amount available, then commission is equal to, directly we will write, then commission is equal to amount available into commission divided by 100 plus commission. Now in this case let us assume that amount available is 1,02,000. This is amount available, let us assume. Therefore commission is equal to, in amount is equal to amount available into commission. That means here they are saying 10% commission, you should take 10, not percentage, remove percentage sign, 10 commission divided by 100 plus commission, that is 10. Therefore you will get here 1,02,000 into 10 divided by 110. 1,02,000 into 10 divided by 110. Therefore he will get here, let me check, 1,02,000 into 10 divided by 110, 9,272.72, that means 73 he will get. Understood this case? Then liquidator is entitled to a remuneration of 3% on all assets realized, on all assets realized. Therefore here on cash he will not get, correct? Other than cash he will get on all assets. That means secured जो asset है उनके ऊपर भी, और unsecured जो not secured as given, not given as a security उनके ऊपर भी, यानी सेकेंड कैटेगरी और थर्ड कैटेगरी में जो एसेट आया है उनका रियलाइज वैल्यू है उसके ऊपर उसको मिलेगा. And 2% on amount distributed to unsecured creditors. Here nothing has mentioned about the unsecured creditors. Which unsecured creditors? Therefore they are not mentioned about which secured creditors or unsecured creditors, correct? Now just they are saying 2% among the amount distributed to unsecured. If nothing has mentioned, then you know unsecured creditors mean, unsecured creditors means, or unsecured creditors included preferential creditors. That means unsecured creditors means unsecured creditors plus preferential creditors. Then from payment side of liquidator final statement, take the total of unsecured. In last problem this was the case we have done with this case, you will get this in video only. Yes, unsecured creditors and preferential creditors के total पे उसको 2% मिलेगा, 2%, correct? And next then liquidator is entitled 3% on all asset realized. That means on all asset except cash she will get 3%. Now you will find this is very popular case in exam, correct? And then 2% on amount distributed among unsecured creditors including preferential creditors. 8th and 9th one is one and the same. They are specifically saying us to include preferential creditors. If nothing has mentioned also, then we must have paid commission on preferential creditors. If they have mentioned, then if mentioned then no option, we have to pay, we will pay. But last case, the 3% on asset realized, this you know, 2% on amount distributed among unsecured creditors except, now here this is very important, except what they are saying, except preferential creditors. Because of this except word, except that means what? Don't give commission on preferential creditors. That means in this case we will give 2% on only unsecured creditors total, 2% only on unsecured creditors total. That means in our solved problem, in this problem, here let's check that commission 1,02,600. 1 lakh, what is this 1,02,600? Yes, they just said in this problem to give commission on unsecured creditors, and if nothing has mentioned, then you know unsecured creditors means creditors, unsecured creditors, that is 87,600 here plus this 15,000. But in last case they said that give only on unsecured except preferential. Therefore in the last case, as per last case, we will pay commission of 2% on only 87,600 and not on 15,000. Understood? These all are all our types of liquidator remunerations. Now then, in conclusion, do you have anything? Unrecorded assets and liabilities. Before that we have call or payment to shareholders. Now when to call and when to pay to shareholders. Suppose in this let me suppose we have debit side total before making payment to shareholders, that means equity as well as preference shareholder, or before that also, before paying to unsecured creditors. If we have shortage of cash, debit minus credit, let us say that is shortage. How we will identify shortage? Now let us say debit total is 1 lakh rupees, and before making payment to preference shareholders your credit total is, let us say, 80,000 rupees. You have 20,000 rupees surplus, correct? But to pay to preference shareholders we require 50,000 rupees. प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर को इतना, हमारे पास 20,000 बचा है, यानी इधर क्या है, इधर हमको 30,000 की ज़रूरत है, 30,000 इज डिफिसिट, ज़रूरत है. तो हम क्या करेंगे, शेयर होल्डर को कॉल करेंगे. मगर शेयर होल्डर को कॉल करने के बाद वो क्या बोलेंगे कि हमने तो पूरा पैसा दे दिया है, फेस वैल्यू इज ₹100 एंड पेड अप वैल्यू इज ऑल्सो 100, वी विल नॉट गिव यू. इफ दिस इज द केस यू कैन नॉट कॉल. You can call, but on phone you will get this answer. Suppose if face value is 100 and paid up value is only 75 or less than 100, any value, then in that case you can call 25 per share, max 25 per share you can call. But if you require only 30, don't call the extra amount, call only 30,000 from shareholder. Understood? And if after paying preference shareholders, after paying, let us say, preference share, for paying preference shareholders if you require only 10, that means we have 10 still balance. This is balance to whom? To equity shareholder. If balance amount is there to equity shareholder, then don't call. When to call? If shortage of cash is there, then only call, otherwise don't call. And then next case, in next case what they are saying, unrecorded assets and liability. Unrecorded assets and liability. If unrecorded asset or liability is given in the information part of the problem. Now let me show you what that problem. Okay, now which one, which the typewriter wala problem. There was a typewriter. Now typewriter is not there here on the asset side. Then what? There was a typewriter completely written off in the books, but liquidator sold it for 1,000. Liquidator sold it for 1,000. Unrecorded asset or liability is given with their value, realized value or the payable value. Therefore what to do? Then pay. Correct na? Unrecorded asset, here unrecorded asset sold, given, realized value received is given. Therefore this unrecorded asset you should show on the asset side where other assets are there. That means what? To amount realized from sale of asset in that there here you must show that here amount realized from sale of asset, correct now, understood. In this category you must show that unrecorded asset. And what about the unrecorded liability? As per the nature of liability, we will write that liability either in preferential this or in this or in this unrecorded. Unrecorded government dues, then we will show unrecorded government dues here. If unrecorded wages, you will show here. Unrecorded creditors will show here. Unrecorded other type of liability than preferential will show here. Unsecured creditors. Electricity bill, unrecorded electricity payable, you can show. If not given in the balance sheet, you can directly write that here, understood. Unrecorded. Then realized oblique paid value is not given in the balance sheet. Now realized value or paid value is not given in the balance sheet. In that you will bifurcate this into two parts. What is the meaning of this? Let me show meaning of this, then you will understand. Now what about goodwill? Now here we have goodwill of rupees, let us say we have goodwill of rupees 60,000 in the balance sheet, and then have they given any amount of goodwill? No, they have not given any amount of goodwill here, realized value of goodwill. That means what? Realized or paid value is not given, realized value of asset or paid value of liability is not given. Okay, then what to do? Have you understood the case? In balance sheet we have book value, but in realized value, in information part, we do not have any value. Then we will divide this into two parts, assets and then liabilities. Now if realized value of asset is not given, then take realized value is equal to 0. Take realized value is equal to what? 0. Consider realized value is equal to 0. What about the liability? If realized value of liability or paid value, not realized value, for liability paid value for that liability if not given in the balance sheet. Now generally you will not get the liability value, because whatever is the payable, that is what the payable value, current payable value. Historical values of asset you will get, but not the historical values of liability. Current values, the payable value, actual value of liabilities you will get, correct now. Therefore for liability, if value is not mentioned here, creditors give discount of rupees 3% related to creditors. Yes, the payable value they have given 3% less 80,000 minus 3%. This is what the paid value of the creditors. Payable 80, out of that you will get, from that you will get 3% discount. That means paid value is different. If this is not given, that means what? Take the example here, we have next outstanding expenses or outstanding office expenses, correct, and we do not have any value. For wages also they do not have given the value. For wages, have they mentioned anything that a discount given something? No. That means for wages we do not have anything, any value given. For loan also they have not given any adjustment. For creditors also they have not given any adjustment. Sorry, for creditors they have given. For these two they have not given any adjustment. That means paid value is not given. Therefore for liabilities you have to assume paid value. Therefore we will say take balance sheet value, take paid value is equal to balance sheet value. Take paid value is equal to balance sheet value. Understood? Now we have covered every possibility of liquidator final statement. This much knowledge I have related to liquidator final statement. Some part may be missing here, but related to your exam I have covered everything. Thank you. Try to solve problem number 1, 2, 3. 3 problems before exam, correct. Permutations and combinations, maximum permutations and combinations you will get in these 3 problems only, and out of these 3 more than 90% you will get in exam. Therefore practice it, try to understand, ask your friend. If you have any doubt, you can also contact to me. Correct. Thank you, my dear students, for listening. Thank you.